Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. It has been around a month since I last made a video. I want to get back into the habit of making content. So here we go with a quick video on thoughts of some upcoming games. Of course, not any particular game is just coming out this next month. Obviously, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are coming up. They're actually right around the corner. And a lot has been revealed since I last was on here. So let's discuss some of the stuff that actually just came out today, now that press has got to play a demo of the game. Which, slight tangent to start, I like that they did that. I could be wrong on this, but it's been a while since press got specifically a demo to play. As we know, with Sword and Shield, press got the game, and a particular certain somebodies leaked a whole bunch of stuff in the game, and literally, showed off the entire game before they were supposed to, even though they were told via the embargo agreement not to. And, they got the hammer thrown down on them to the tune of, around $150,000. So this might make a lot of people in the community hesitant to even leak internal contents of the game other than descriptions. We also know within the demos of, I believe it was Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the entire code for the entire game and the contents of the game was in the demo also. So once press got it, people data mined it and everything came out. And to this point, nothing's been data mined. So I think that's a really good thing. But there are still all people leaking, but they're leaking more of... they're not really leaking screenshots. Yes, there's been some screenshots here and there, but they're not really doing that. They're leaking text. They're just leaking information, not actually physical stuff within the game. And I actually like that because I want to go into these games just like I did back in the day with, Gold, Silver, Crystal, of getting into the game and getting Cyndaquil, not knowing what Cyndaquil was going to turn into. And then later on, catching... Well, actually, that was back in the day when I literally just used only the starter. But still, going through the game, you just didn't know what you were getting into. But I want to go back to those days. And avoiding everything is the way to do that. Yes, I have discussed some leak stuff, and I will always continue to post the leak stuff. Actually, there was kind of some minor leak stuff in this video, but it's not really hard stuff. You're not going to see any designs. I'm not going to throw any designs of Pokemon out there, because pretty much none of them exist. So, but going on, so from what we've seen from the press, just real quick, Koraidon and Miraidon seem to move quite well. It's kind of funny that everybody's saying Koraidon and Miraidon seem to move quite well because the demo was only for Scarlet specifically. None of the press, at least to my knowledge at this point, unless something's changed since I started recording this video, but none of the press has been able to play specifically Violet. They've only been able to play Scarlet, which is funny because the press video that has been shown that's essentially B-roll given to them by the Pokemon Company, Game Freak, Nintendo, whomever, I don't know, and I don't quite give a crap. All of that is from Violet, so it's kind of funny because we're seeing Violet stuff, as you're going to see on the screen. Miraidon, I believe, is Violet's, and Koraidon is Scarlet's, but so everybody's talking about how Koraidon moves really well, and it transitions seamlessly between the different ride modes, and we assume the same with Koraidon, Miraidon, both of them, but we've only seen one and heard about the other, so it's kind of interesting. But here's something also that I want to preface. All this has been from a demo. I've already said that, but keep in mind all this has been from a demo, so some of the stuff might not be accurate once we get the full game. So right towards the beginning of the demo, you get access to Koraidon and Miraidon, and you get access to all the ride modes all at once. Pretty interesting. A lot of people were speculating that it would be similar to HM/ride Pokemon, where yeah, you would get access to Koraidon and Miraidon really early, but you got access to small bits of their overworld abilities. No, based off just the demo alone, you get access to everything. You can go literally anywhere at any point in the game, super open. The fourth big thing that is different in the overworld is the line of sight mechanic that has been a mainstay for literally the entire series. Some of y'all might not even know what that mechanic is of what I'm saying. I actually had to double question when I first saw it pop up in an article. I was like, what the heck does that mean? When you're walking in the Pokemon world and then boom, you meet eyes with the trainer like that Bowser, and then boom, boom, a fight immediately ensues, and you have to battle it. Yeah, that happens. That's no longer a thing. The trainers just stay there. The trainer making eye contact with you is no longer a real big thing. There's no longer an immediate battle. You have to actually go up to them to initiate the battle, which means you can also choose to not initiate a battle. I personally think this is coming from, in Pokemon Legends Arceus, with the Misfortune Sisters, or Fortune Sisters, whatever you want to call them. I don't remember specifically what their names were. But with them, they had the line of sight mechanic, but because it's, with that semi-open world, but because you're in an open world area, it's not a direct line of sight. It's more of a line of a cone of sight. And so there were some instances where, like, you didn't even realize that you were in their line of sight. You didn't even see them, but you were within the cone. And then, boom, battle starts. And all over the place, you end up in a battle that you weren't prepared to be in. Some cases, you actually lost out on shiny Pokemon or like a particular encounter that you were looking for because you didn't see the encounter there, the encounter cone, as I'm going to call it. So they've seemed to remove this from Scarlet and Violet to make it to where you just have to go up and do the encounter yourself. This is actually really cool. I like it. Adds customability. You can kind of go through, you see your trainers, you might not be ready to battle, get ready to battle, go choose to battle them. For particular challenge modes, like some people do least amount of battles in order to play through a game, oh my gosh, it's going to make that challenge mode so cool, because maybe essentially you might be able to literally only do, call it boss battles between gym battles and, Team Star battles and the Orba Mystica kind of stuff. So, pretty cool. The implications are kind of endless with that, but it's interesting that this is the first time we're not going to have the line of sight mechanic. And, ready to see the series evolve, ready to see where this goes. I think it really fits with the open world. It makes sense. I think it's a change for the good. A little post-editor's note right here. By the way, you've pretty much been able to skip like an absurd amount, like above 70% of trainers that are not boss trainers in like every single game. And you were able to do that in Legends Arceus if you actually saw where the Misfortune Sisters are. My comment of you accidentally walking into their cone of sight, as in you could be walking from behind them and they could be completely shrouded via the environment, and you accidentally walked into their cone of sight, and boom, it starts a battle. That's never really been a thing, but once we went to a semi-open world, it became a thing. So they remedied it via just removing it. You have to go initiate the battle. It's for the greater good. If you don't see that, sorry. When the game comes out, you'll realize it's for the greater good. That's all I can say. Speaking of encounters and shiny Pokemon, all that, I'm going to first mention that overworld shinies do appear. The godsend Joe Merrick did encounter a shiny Pokemon in his playthrough of the demo, and it was an overworld shiny. It did appear. Now, you hearing that, you might be like, oh, it's 100% all like PLA, Pokemon Legends Arceus. And it's not quite. It's kind of like an interesting hybrid between Pokemon Legends Arceus and Sword and Shield. So, yes, overworld shininess will appear. In fact, actually, when the Pokemon spawns, all of its personality traits, nature, IVs, shininess, all that, it's particular level, its particular moveset, its gender, all of that, boom, locked in right there once it spawns. With that being said, you don't just throw your Pokeball at it to catch it. You actually have to either throw your Pokemon at it to start the battle, or just run into the gosh darn thing to start the battle. Also, different wild Pokemon have different, call it overworld personalities. Some of them just walking around like this and whatnot. Some of them are going to try to be all crazy and attack you like they're a Paris. And some of them are going to get scared and run away. But, so it's interesting. It's a nice hybrid between Pokemon Legends Arceus and Sword and Shield. Also, from Pokemon Legends Arceus, Backstrides are back. So say there happens to be a Pokemon, and you are where you can get behind it and it doesn't see you, and you throw your Pokemon at it, it will be stunned, and the first turn of the battle, it will always flinch. So it's kind of nice that it will be able to help you in catching it or just battling it. Who knows why you're starting the encounter. I'm not here to judge. But it's a nice little thing to throw in there to make it different. Again, it's a really nice hybrid system. I love it. Love the way the series is evolving. Holy crap, I did a lot of movement there. Also, within the overworld, there's a day-night system similar to Pokemon Legends Arceus and like Breath of the Wild, where it continuously goes through the day into the evening, into the night, and back into the morning, into the day, into the evening, and the night, over and over again. And also the weather changes throughout it all and whatnot. Really good system. We loved it in PLA. We love it in Breath of the Wild. Anybody in the comments saying that you hate rain in Breath of the Wild, screw you. Makes the game better because it forces you to have to find different ways of traversal. Within this, your trainer character reacts to the weather. So, for instance, people are reporting that like when it rains, your trainer character will kind of cover themselves because, oh no, it's raining and I don't like being wet. And also, certain Pokemon can react to all the different weather and whatnot. For instance, people are reporting that their Farigiraf was moving around happily, dancing, jumping in the rain. Reminds me of unique text boxes in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver during the weather, depending on where you were in the game. So, it's really awesome. The overworld is going to be very lively. Super excited about it. This game is looking absolutely amazing. So there's a lot that I probably haven't covered in this video. And I'm sure a billion other YouTubers have covered literally everything ad nauseum at this point. And that's great. Continue to go into their videos. Thank you for clicking on my video. But lastly, I want to talk about something big. Yes, this does include a little bit of a rant, but it's good. I promise it is so good. And also, there is kind of a little bit of leakish stuff. You'll see some screenshots. I promise you it's not major leaks. If you want to turn off the video at this point, do so. I don't care. But please stay. Please stay. So we know, in fact, that there's the 3-story path that's been, shown off by Pokemon themselves and Game Freak, whomever, and we know that path to be the Gym Leader Challenge, the Team Store, and the Orba Mystica, or the Titan Pokemon. We also know via reports that they all can be tackled separately or intertwined, however you want. At first, I was kind of discouraged by hearing this, but now I'm not, the more thought I give to it. According to what some of the press has said, and also some statements from a lot of leakers that have kind of backed this up and pointed it out, and I'll probably have screenshots at this point rolling around, as you can already see, all of these 3 separate story paths will have separate level progressions that start at a small amount and get harder throughout it. So say there are 8 gyms, just like a regular Pokemon game. Your first gym is, level, 10, 15-ish. Second one is 20, 30. The third one, can't do math. The third one is, 25, 30. Fourth is, 30, 35. Fifth is getting closer to 40. Sixth is in the low 40s. And seventh is in the mid to high 40s. And eighth one is 50 and above, or right at 50, So will the Team Star bases. So I'm going kind of on prediction here based off of a leak that you will see right now. That's a big leak. That is absolutely awesome. That it's also kind of a small leak because a lot of people have guessed this. That there's going to be essentially 18 different badges. You will get 8 gym badges and 10 badges between the star bases and the Titan Pokemon. So I'm just going to guess the 5 star bases and 5 Titan Pokemon. And they each will give you a badge. Let's do the math. 18. How are they going to divvy this up? Well, according to Leakles, they are saying that there's going to be 18 different types, meaning no gym, no team star base, no Titan Pokemon are going to overlap in types. We've already seen a fire type team star base member, a grass type gym leader, an ice type gym leader, and a pure rock type Orba Mystica Titan Pokemon. So all those are unique at this point, and it's going to continue to be more unique. All of them are going to be different. I'm actually excited about that. I know some ROM hacks have floated the idea of 18 gyms and all of them being different type specialists. And if I ever make a ROM hack or a fan game of something like that, that's what I want to do. That sounds like so much fun. 8 different trainer specialists. Even though, yes, the Orba Mystica / Titan Pokemon isn't necessarily a trainer specialist, it's still kind of a specialist Pokemon. But the really interesting thing about this, that admittedly a lot of people are hesitant on, and I have been hesitant in the past about, is the level scaling. We know there's no level scaling, and in fact, we know there's no level scaling. In fact, we know there's no level scaling throughout any of it, meaning, let's go back to an example here. Yes, I know there was level scaling in DLC of Sword and Shield, specifically, mainly the level scaling that most people talk about, the level scaling within Isle of Armor. If you go to the Isle of Armor right when you have access to it from starting your game, you'll be around the right level to do everything. You can actually go through the entire Isle of Armor or intertwine Isle of Armor and regular, gyms and everything in the regular story of Sword and Shield, go back and forth or do all of the Isle of Armor before you even get to the Forest Gym and a little bit of the Crown Tundra too. And so what this creates is if you want to do both of them at the same time or do the Crown Tundra first and then the regular story of Sword and Shield, you're going to be over-leveled 100% of the game. It's just how it works. That's what a lot of people, including myself, were very hesitant on, but something that geniusly popped up in my head is I'm going to create 3 teams. I'm going to have one team to go through the 8 gyms with, and then when I decide to go to the team star bases, I'm going to make a new team for those. That's going to grow and that's going to build. And same with the Orba Mystica and the Titan Pokemon. And so I'm going to go through Pokemon Scarlet and Violet with 3 separate teams for each playthrough. And it's going to make things, I think, more challenging because the game is probably going to be designed for you to kind of go intertwined throughout all of it. In fact, according to the press, it actually kind of nudges you of, once you get to the Forest Gym or wherever, like people are telling you, hey, maybe you should go check out this character. That character you check out will lead on to one of the other things. But me personally, I think in order to give myself a fun, challenging, and fulfilling playthrough, I'm going to take each of the 3 story paths on one at a time with a different team. Honestly, this makes me more excited for the game. This was already my most anticipated Pokemon game. I've loved this series, and I've never been more excited for a game since this one. I'm so excited. I feel like a kid again. I know a lot of people out there watching and not watching, just all around the Pokemon community, feel the same. So what are your thoughts? Anything that I didn't cover that you want to mention? What are you most excited about for these upcoming titles? Anything in particular that you're excited to see? Just anything, whatever you want to comment. Do I look ugly? Do you like any of these games over here in the background? These aren't games. These are game consoles. I have 2 brain cells. If there's anything you want to comment, drop it down below. Also, if you're a UT fan or you thought that win was amazing, drop that down in the comment below too. Yeah, I really appreciate every one of y'all for tuning in. Whether it's 5,000, a billion, or just 2. I appreciate every single one of them. Drop a like, subscribe, all that YouTuber nonsense. As always, I really appreciate you for watching. Gummy Gamer, out! By the way, if you don't know fellow creator and actually successful creator John Stone on YouTube, you need to subscribe to him. He makes amazing content. Also, subscribe to his Twitter, because the dude is funny. So right around the time that people were getting news that, oh, maybe some people might be able to get, review copies and demo copies and all that kind of jazz, he decided to make a hilarious post. I don't know if he actually got access to the early demo. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. He shares, I've been lucky enough to play Pokemon Scarlet and Violet for a few days, so here are some spoiler-free little facts that they left out of the trailers. By the way, these are unconfirmed, just want to throw that out. There were 62 new moves that have been added to the game. Sarah Ludge's and Armor Rouge's Slash-like move with 80 base power and guaranteed confusion and course. Obviously, people are a little bit skeptical about this. That sounds like an interesting move. Doesn't sound right, but let's move on. Your entire party can follow you all at once. With the implementation of co-op multiplayer, you can have up to a whopping 24 Pokemon at the screen at the same time. Some people will, starting to throw out the cap symbols of, this doesn't sound right, but maybe it is right. I don't know. And then we go on to this next screenshot. With the addition of the new camping and breeding feature, you have the option to sacrifice and cook your party Pokemon, which can be used to restore HP and PP for your entire team. Now, obviously, this is getting into trolling territory, and it is quite funny, but he finishes it with a chef's kiss. There are 9 sex scenes. Much more than the average 0 in previous installments. And the comment section to this is hilarious. It was absolute golden comedy. It was hilarious. That was a little bonus feature. Have a good one. Bye.